So this is the approach leading into Raleigh's Store Machine boat. And this is one of the first levels of the game we made. And it has been gone over and over and over, and as the characters changed, as his jump length changed and jump height changed, this level got changed too.
Right.
And it's also sort of like the test bed for the lighting, right? Hokyo, you did all the lighting in the game.
Right.
What kind of stuff was going through your head when you were making this level?
Before I do any lighting, the artist, me and include other artists, we trying to get the right color palettes, get the right mood of the time. The main goal that I was trying to do for this game was not making it too dark.
You may be saying this level is large, but it is actually a third of the size of the original level.
The original concept behind the original NPCs was to tie them to Alice in Wonderland.
What was challenging in lighting this level, Hokyo? You have fire in here, you have multi-levels, you have lasers.
Yep.
Okay, the hardest thing for this level was you have two different kind of set of mood. One is very cold. You start with cold, and at the end you get hot. So we have we can only use one fog in this level, with actually for every level. So choosing the right color of the fog was very difficult to stay the same.
And keep it consistent with the other level.
Right.
Is that progression from cool to warm from the very start?
Wasn't there an octopus, or was that in the long time ago?
That was in a long time ago for this level.
They're behind.
It was behind.
We were
the
very
door.
sad when it was removed.
Yeah.
It was quite large.
It's a sad day.
It was a huge octopus head, and you got to knock its eyeballs out of its sockets and knock its teeth out of its
And its eyes
head.
looked big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty creepy, wasn't it?
And he had a bow tie. Our NPCs are all. After doing the crankshaft level, we decided that it would be impossible to finish this game with levels that are that size. So we decided we were kind of in this mode where, okay, that was a regular big level, and we'll also do these smaller levels that are kind of bonusy. And we wanted to do one that was just pretty much all secure, as much security as I could put in. So this is going to be a small security level. This level began with just the kind of mechanic of this wheel that you can interact with by running on it. And it's kind of one of the few more puzzly kind of elements in the game where it's when you walk up to this thing, it's not completely straightforward what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's not immediately obvious what that wheel is used for.
So, getting in both these cases.
This is another one of these levels where actually the key is available right at the beginning. You can see where it is. It's a little small, but still the key is right on this ledge, very, very close to that main, that first elevator when you go in. And so you're going to end up going into the level and coming all the way back out on a different level.
Brian actually did some initial, kind of.
So this started off as a puzzle where you were going to come to the end of this boat deck, and actually the top of the boat deck where the first starfish throwing NPC now is, was going to be the training section. And the idea was going to be that there was going to be invisible lasers all over this area, and you were going to have to spray something into the ahead of you to expose. So the second approach of the game, this was touched by a lot of people too.
Yeah, originally it was a huge junkyard that
Yeah.
you were navigating through.
Yeah.
It was really confusing for the player to know where they needed to go and what was a wall and what wasn't, because everything was equally interesting,
Right.
as it was just piles and piles of trash.
Like some breakables, but some not. And
Yeah.
it was really sort of dissatisfying to play. So the second approach of the game, this was actually.
I started working on this pretty much the day after I saw the movie and I was pretty interested in the funky rooftop scenes they had in that film and the landscape created by those rooftops. This was the first level that we made that featured the Inspector Carmelita Fox, and it was a real challenge figuring out the gameplay mode for her, because we wanted to have this cop character in the game that sort of made more concrete the fact that you were a thief and that chased you, but at the same time we didn't want to do a chase situation similar to the games where there was somebody behind you and you were running down screen.
Yeah, we wanted to have something where it didn't involve as much memorization, where it involved a fair amount of reactionary stuff rather than having to memorize the environment. Yeah, this was a particularly challenging level to get sort of cameras done correctly as well as behavior, because we had to focus on two different characters at once, and we had to deal with it from pretty strange camera angles. There's a lot of change, so this was definitely a test for doing the camera.
This is the only level in Mugshot's world that actually is a casino. And originally when we had set off to make Mugshot's world, it was all going to be casino. We just sort of weren't that interested in doing a whole casino world after doing one.
So we had to find lots of stuff around it. That's why we have buildings outside of it and the rooftop on top of it.
Well, it was just more interesting going through the urban environment than it was kind of making your way through these slot machines and dodging the gangster dogs.
Kind of like real Vegas, where it's interesting for the first time you see it and for a little while, and then after a while you kind of get numbed.
But it's based on real casinos that have a lot of water and swinging, sparking cables. That you've seen, real casinos you've been to, over in Tulalip.
No, in fact, it's not. It's not. This level features a couple game mechanics that we use all over the place, but in here it's pretty pronounced, and that's when you get up on top of chandeliers and you're looking down.
I did the kind of layout design for this world using Legos, and it actually turned out pretty close to what I did. I knew it was going to be a rooftop, so having being kind of constrained by the general blockiness of Legos seemed like it was fine, and it helped me get the elevations. I like the smart guard a lot.
The who?
I like the rodent, the big voodoo rat.
For everyone who can't see Andrew, he's a dead ringer for the voodoo rodent.
It's a startling resemblance. I was scared when I first met Andrew. I actually hit him with a stick repeatedly. And I will again right now.
Ow. The voodoo rodent was one of the few in this world where I could actually sort of act out what I wanted him to do to any extent, and so he's the most humanoid, I guess.
You act out all of your characters?
I act out, yeah. I find that I think I was saying this on one of the other levels, but I find that and I make this mistake over and over again of thinking, oh, I know what this guy needs to do, and I just start animating and looking at it from the outside, and I find if I don't actually do the action myself and sort of feel what it feels like.
Gomerville's inspired when we were modeling, it was the first one for Voodoo, so it was really supposed to decide the style of architecture and land. And we spent a lot of time on the trees because we realized it was 1/3 of the whole level.
And I worked on the maps inspired by Kay Nielsen's paintings for, well, specifically the 12 Dancing Princesses, old fairy tale from, I think, around the turn of the century. Kay Nielsen was also the person that inspired the scene in Fantasia with the real droopy trees. And
the whole waterfalls of soup with the hands and the bones in it are very much inspired by the scene where they're going into get the room or whatever. There you see this big cauldron of soup that has hands and all this gory stuff in it, and I was like, well, it's nice as in a pot, but as a waterfall, I would like
Boy, that really grosses me out. Made me happy. Yeah, actually, yeah, we all like.
I just thought that was your thing. I didn't realize
The
that was
grosser
an
it is, the
inspiration.
happier
Yes.
Karen you are, the grosser it is.
Yes.
The more chunks and bits and ribbons, ribbons and gristle.
This level is in many ways, in my opinion, the most sort of evolved from the standpoint of gameplay mechanics in the game. We do some really crazy things with the camera, like when you're sneaking around the edge and the icicles are falling at you, where we've constrained the player to a simple decision-making process, being left or right with the danger coming down on them. But because they're so constrained, you can do totally whack things with the camera and give you this image that you don't normally see in video games as a result. It's more cinematic, and it helps highlight the danger in the case of this level from the guards looking down on you when you sneak around the guard tower or the falling icicles. It's a nice change of pace from just having the top-down playable camera all the time.
You get a bizarre perspective.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so we were recording the voices for the game.
Yes.
And how weird is it to get the script? And the game it's kind of interesting to note that we are not trying to make a cartoon with the voices. So Andrew, you modeled out this level.
Yes, another level that you designed.
What do you like about this world?
Let's see.
Or level, I should say.
What do I like about it? I like, there's something great about the space. There, the fact that it's taking place, you know, very quickly inside and then outside of these tall, narrow buildings, and that they form both the kind of foreground, sometimes the surroundings, and then actually the background, kind of the sideshow, the thing that you're looking at in the distance. So you're constantly seeing places that you've been before. This level was started mostly just like the kind of the opening shot where you're coming out of the cave and you really see this big temple. It was pretty early in the design of the level where I wanted to kind of have this, you know, kind of picturesque moment here, and also being able to see your end goal from the entrance as well. This is one of the more, I guess we call it pretzel levels, where the course is very much kind of going around itself. It's kind of using this one art space for the different game mechanics. So instead of having a long corridor that has all the mechanics, and we have to do art all the way down that corridor or whatever, we take it in one space. In this case, we go outside the temple. We go inside. I kind of use the fireworks in this level as kind of gating mechanisms to keep you kind of dodging and running from Carmelita while you're playing.
Right.
And also just to have bigger, kind of these big events during the game.
Just from texturing it, I know like on the mugshot where she's shooting at you, the colors were reversed of this. Like in this one, Sly Cooper's path is all cool, and where Carmelita's jumping around is where we kept the warm colors. But in the mugshot one, it's kind of reversed, where Sly's running on the warm path.